John chapter 7 verse 1. After this, Jesus went about in Galilee. He would not go about in Judea because the Jews were seeking to kill him. So, the previous chapter ended with the one who will betray him, and this chapter immediately starts with the fact that he's not going to Judea even anymore, right? He just stays up there in the north amongst his own, where they didn't really love him that much, but at least they were not seeking, well, at least they didn't hate him. Although they tried to kill him in Nazareth as well. But it's safer there for him. And so this is because down there, the Jews, again, I'm not speaking of the Jews as a nation, I'm speaking of, as John is doing it, of this group of people rejecting Jesus, not born of the Spirit. So from a Jewish background, not born of the Spirit, hating Jesus, disowning their Messiah, still till today, they are the Jews, right? So not anti-Semitism, but rejecting of those who were rejecting the believing in Christ. Ultimately, they were rejected. And this is what John is getting at as well. He's not rejecting the Jews as a nation, hating the people. I explained that as well already. So yeah, he didn't because they were seeking to kill him. Verse 2. Now the Jews' feast of booths was at hand. Okay, so the feast of booths. So this is well commemorated the time they were in the desert and they were living in temporary shelters. Right, it's still a feast that they celebrate today. Putting up these temporary shelters, living in these temporary shelters like they were just in the desert. Okay, so in the previous chapter we saw the mention of the manna they ate in the desert, and now this is the Feast of Booths. Now, yeah, sure, a lot of these holy times for the Jews were associated with the time they were in the desert there, in the wilderness, on their way to the promised land, because this is when God gave them law, and this is, and so, yeah, sure, this is a reminder to that. So a lot of these feasts, the vast majority will have to do something with this. Okay, so this is now this feast, ultimately as well as hand. Is Jesus going to go to this feast? You would say, think not, because he knows they're trying to kill him, and going there would just inflame things. Verse 3, so his brothers said to him, leave here and go to Judea, that your disciples also may see the works that you are doing. Right, so it's more not Judea per se, but Jerusalem. Jerusalem is in Judea. So go there, go to Judea, so the disciples may see the work, so that those down there, believing in you as well might see, not just hear about your works, because there are people down there believing in you, but that they might see your works as well. Now, he's been doing things in Jerusalem, so it won't be new. But so it's not, I don't think the brothers here are getting at the fact, that they will see the first time or anything like that. But they want more publicity for him. Now, it's kind of strange in a certain sense. Why? Because like in Mark, Jesus was so popular that everybody came to him and they thought he's mad and they couldn't. But this most likely after this, and so they changed kind of the idea. But okay, so he's not changing, so we need to change in the sense of what can we get out of this. So I think here clearly more is about what can we get out of this. Here they're not really concerned about Jesus at all, unlike there, you're not at all concerned about him. But they're worried about themselves and what they can get out of it, or more thinking about what, not so much worried about themselves, thinking more what they can get out of this, like the disciples, like Judas ultimately. Okay, so this is why they're saying their reason for Jesus, like the reason why the people after feeding them, they wanted to make him the king, and the same thing that the brothers here are saying, go down there so that, the disciples can see the works. Okay, so that then you can become the king and we can become the princess. Verse 4, for no one works in secret if he seeks to be known openly. If you do these things, show yourself to the world. So it kind of makes sense. If you want to be known openly, then you're not going to work in the secret. But if you want to know, if you're famous and you want to be known by everyone, then you're going to walk on the streets, more streets than not disguised. But if you don't want to be known, then sure, you're going to put on disguise. I did mention about this in one of the other teachings, about this guy I saw there in Bangkok in the Mall Bangkok, and it was like all cap and mask, and you couldn't see his face at all. Right now, he's like incognito, seemingly he doesn't want to be known. Or he didn't want to be known. Maybe it's just goes a person that's an introvert and he goes around like this everywhere. Although I doubt that, but anyhow, so if you want to be known openly, then you don't put a cap and a mask on, right? You walk in the streets where everybody is hunting for the rich and the famous. But if you don't want to, then you're hiding. Just so you put on a cap and a mask. Now the thing is that these brothers still totally no idea what Jesus was about. He didn't want to be known openly. Okay, he had the chance in the previous chapter already to be made the king. So if he wanted to be known openly, then he could have just let them do what they wanted with him and making the king. Yes, it would have started a war, lots of people would have died, like it's in the peasant wars later on in the time of Luther. So they misunderstood Jesus, like everyone else kind of still misunderstanding Jesus. It wasn't about being made public or being known openly, because he knew that's just going to make things more difficult. Verse 5, for not even his brothers believed in him. That's the point as well that John is making. They were in this for themselves. And John stating not even the brothers believed. So the disciples didn't believe. They were spending so much time with Jesus. But even his brothers that grew up with him didn't believe. So the Jews didn't believe. The Jews, again, this group of people that John is calling Jews, those who didn't believe. They don't include like the blind man soon or some of the other people, okay? They exclude those. They're going to exclude like Nicodemus, Josephus, and people like that. So, again, it's an important point, just the fact that John is making, that these people so close to them, so close to him, they didn't believe. So, yeah, you people reading it, you people listening to this, it's kind of, they didn't believe either. Why? Because the Spirit didn't give it to them, at least not yet. Because James is going to become the leader, the head of the church. And that as well ought to be a sign to them. Look here, James, the head of the church here in Jerusalem, he didn't believe then either. Now he believes. So why you who see James every day is not going to believe? Okay, no excuse. Verse 6. Jesus said to them, my time has not yet come, but your time is always here. The world cannot hate you, but it hates me, because I testify about it that its works are evil. Jesus just saying, the time, I've spoke about the time, it's a concept that's repeated often here in the Gospel of John. Okay, the time is ultimately, there's lots of gnats again around here, and small flies, I guess, and they're going to leave all marks on my body. But anyhow, one of those things. Okay, so his time, the time of his ultimate crucifixion, before the Last Supper is going to say the time is here. Right? Now the time's not here yet. So for that reason I'm kind of not going to go. Because if I go now, they're going to kind of kill me. And my time is not here yet. I will get back to then why did he go? Did he lie or didn't he lie? So he's speaking of why he can't go there, right? Why? There's as well a big clue concerning what's going to happen to them. Not only in what we've already seen concerning Judas and how they're looking to kill him, but about the fact that saying the world hates him, right? They hate him. They want to kill him, okay? Like true believers, true Christians will be hated by the world. The reason why true Christians, Americans and whatever are not hated by the world is because are they standing up for the truth? I doubt it. So it hates him. Why? Because he's testifying that their works are evil. Chapter 3. Right? They don't want to come to the light because their works are evil. He's testifying the works. He's standing up for the truth. He is putting this light mirror in front of you. This light, put lights on them, and it's like, you are wrong. What you're doing is wrong. You are sinners. You need to be born again. Okay? He shows their works are evil. Therefore, they hate him. And I understand why the world doesn't hate the church in so many countries where the church is kind of important. It's because, man, they just like the world. The songs they sing, the stuff they preach, not standing up for the truth. What the heck is the difference between them and the world? I find it difficult to discern between where the church in certain countries ends and the world starts. I don't think there's really a gap anymore at all. Right? But they hated Jesus because he was showing he was not like the world. That's what we are supposed to be. Verse 8, you go up to the feast. I'm not going up to this feast, for my time has not yet fully come. So it's like, so yeah, you go up to the feast because they're supposed to, right? This is kind of the accepted norm. So you go up. I'm not going to go up to this feast, but because my time has not yet come. Not fully come. Okay, so he adds us, not fully come. Yes, he will go up there when his time is there, but it's not fully there yet. It's close, but not there yet. Close, but no cigar. Okay, it's going to happen soon, so he's not going to. But you guys, you go ahead. This is kind of the normal. Verse 9, after saying this, he remained in Galilee. Did he lie? No, he said this and he remained there. He didn't go there, right? Now, yes, in the next verses we are going to see him going there. But John clearly in this verse, with this verse 9, states that he didn't lie. Why? Because he stayed there. He said this and he stayed there. They went. Simple. Okay, I'll get back to this and just move to another location.